Hey everybody, this is Tex Murphy. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. Yeah, that's right. You're about to have to listen to Chris Pope.
I hear it all the time. Whatever happened to Tex Murphy? Everything was going so well. A hot date with my future girlfriend, then my speeder got stolen, and then I broke one of my own PI rules. Don't take rides from strangers.
Who's your mate?
Oh, that's Tex. He's having a very bad day.
That true, Tex?
Oh no, everything's just going peach.
Well, things could get worse, son.
What happened?
You are dead.
Lame. Well, okay. But just don't stick me in some eternal all-night diner with a bunch of egomaniacs who will talk my ear off.
Your fate has been decided.
Hold on. I did not pick this. I said not this. Is this another one of your sick jokes?
That's right, Murphy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guys from Andromeda podcast. I would be your host, Chris Pope, and today is October 17th, 2012, and I'm joined with a special guest I'm about to introduce. But before I introduce my special guest, chat room, can you hear me? If you can, let me know. All right, everybody can hear me. That's what I like to see. All right, so welcome everybody, and I'd love you to welcome my special guest, none other than Chris Jones, Tex Murphy himself. Chris, how's it going?
I'm pretty well, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you on the podcast here.
Oh no, man, it's my pleasure, and it's really cool to have you on. I know the chat room is excited. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from everybody this last week about having you on with me. So
right.
That's a good thing. So how's things been, man? I mean, I know for us, we've been coming off the Kickstarter beatdown for the last few months that we all took. And what's that been like for you?
Well, it was all pretty bizarre. I mean, you get this opportunity, you find out about Kickstarter, some people are having success, and the wheels in your mind turn and say, we could really make something happen on this, and it wouldn't just be a fantasy. I mean, we talked about bringing Tex Murphy back for years and years, and so, our beatdown came talking to publishers and trying to find ways to make it work, and when this looked like it could be an opportunity, the work that went into it was a labor of love, really. Mm-hmm. But it is a process, and it's just interesting to see that it almost feels like a telethon when you're pulling together, and it basically occupies your mind for 4 hours a day.
Yes.
It was interesting. I talked to some of the others before we went on, and they were asking me how long we were planning on doing it, and I said, well, we'll probably do 60 days. And they basically said, look, you are out of your mind. Do not do this for 60 days. So you will just, it will just completely wipe you out. And I can tell you honestly, 30 days, that was plenty. The 31 days that we had it up there, that was work, and it was a job. But again, it was a labor of love. And when you finally get all done and you realize what's been accomplished and what the opportunity is, it's very, very exciting, and it's thrilling. But you also do, suffer from a hangover for that for, 3, 4, 5 weeks when you're just trying to keep bearings again. So great experience, but it takes it out of you. It is a job.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to say that's probably one of the most stressful things I've ever been through. What about you?
Absolutely. I mean, every day you're checking the total, you're running through your head, how many have I got left, and how are we going to make this? How do we keep this, interesting, fun, and exciting community so they want to support you, and that they capture the big vision? I mean, we've been out of the marketplace a while, and so you have those loyal fans out there who are really, cheering for you and working for you. But you got to bring other people into the mix, and you've got to have something that they can grab a hold of and believe that they want to support. So, it really is from emotional and mental standpoint, it is very draining because you can't let up a second.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. And that's something we all went through and talked about during the San Diego Comic-Con. So for you guys out there listening, the first time I met Chris was at San Diego Comic-Con. And we were invited to be on a panel with Chris Avalon and some others, and I think we all sort of talked about the same thing about how brutal it was. And it's one of those things I don't think anybody realizes till they go through it themselves. The pain, the painful memories. It's actually not bad memories, all of it. Just really stressful, I guess, is the main thing. And couldn't said it better myself. The Kickstarter hangover, is for sure a good way of putting it, without a doubt. But we had a good panel in San Diego Comic-Con. I think we had a pretty packed room, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people interested in, I think, in the whole process, and just I think they were interested in what it was to experience that, and what it takes to put a program together, and it takes a lot of brain power and as you're talking about, a lot of stress, because from day to day you don't know how it's going to end up, and you don't know whether you're going to the top or not. So hey, that's a challenge.
Yeah, no doubt. And everything was going great for us in the beginning, and then these Tex Murphy guys came out with their project and sucked all the money away, man. Oh, wait a minute, that's who I'm talking to.
Yeah, sorry. Really no idea that was what when it happened. Yeah. Great thing, I think, especially for the old timers, you learn to appreciate the other guys out there, and you are cheering them on, and it is a competition. You're going, hey, everybody, make sure you're looking at us. But to me, it was almost like in some ways a class reunion, and that made it all the more interesting for me to think, what if all these groups succeed, and we can bring back a genre, and we can bring back an experience that people aren't getting now. Yeah. And all of us who are this need to support each other and turn out a great product, but also be supportive of the products themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. I completely agree with that. It's I've said it before. It warms my heart to see all these games coming back, from years ago, and I know. This is a whole generation of people that enjoyed those games all those years ago, and getting to see them come back is a wonderful thing. On the flip side of that, it was tough on our backers, because they for the most part, you got two sci-fi comedies that are coming out around the same time, and they want to give their money, but they've only got so much money to give, So
you're looking over your shoulder going, am I doing anything? So hats off to them, because again, they really have shown fantastic support, and I'm just so pleased that they've supported both our projects.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Us too. We actually SD in the chat room just said, actually, in retrospect, the two projects helped each other out a great deal. It says, I wonder if either of them would have been successful with both our communities without working together. And I think, and SD, of course, was a major supporter for us, and I'm sure you guys as well. But in saying that, it is true. Like the two communities going back and forth, really trying to help each other out, and that was a great thing. I think I do. One of the things I said this during the Comic-Con panel as well, which was, how in the world I missed your announcement, because you guys announced it before you went live with your Kickstarter, like you announced, didn't you guys announce the date and everything that it was going to happen?
I missed that. Sorry, it broke up.
Oh, no problem. Did you guys announce like beforehand? Didn't you guys announce like the date and everything that your Kickstarter was going to go live?
Well, what we did, I can't remember whether we said the specific date, but we did say we're basically coming in 2 months, and so I don't know if we picked the exact date, and again I could be wrong because it feels like 100 years ago, but from that standpoint, we were trying to alert people that we were coming out very soon, and so that was good and bad to some degree, but I feel in the long run it probably helped us a bit, but it took away some of the press opportunities because they covered it when we announced that we were coming out, and then when we came out, we kind of missed the ball with some of them.
Right. Yeah, and the thing is you live and learn. You really do, because you had Double Fine that put their Kickstarter out there and just blew everybody away, and then you had a couple of others. You had Wasteland 2 and all that stuff coming out, and then Jane Jensen from Sierra put her stuff out, and then the Leisure Suit Larry remake came out, and then the two guys, we announced them coming out, you guys coming out, and there was like, I guess our projects were both within probably the first 6 or 7 big game related Kickstarters come out, and I could be wrong in saying that, and I apologize if I am, you guys out there listening, but we were all stumbling around trying to figure all this stuff out, and it was, I hate using the term gold rush because that's a really bad way to put it, but it really was, it was a balance for us, I know, because it was kind of like, well, if we wait, we can learn from everybody else's mistakes, or this bubble could pop and we could lose out, or we could rush out there and just get it out and again, bad wording here, but stumble our way through it and get it done. With me, social media and all that stuff is what I do, but in terms of managing a project like this Kickstarter, it was the first time I had to, especially for video games, manage something like that, and I know for us it was a lot of well, let's try this. Okay, how did that work? Let's give this a shot and see what happened. I mean, was that kind of the case for you guys as well?
Yeah, to a large degree. I mean, you get shocked and stunned when you hear how well Double Fine is done, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Is this really a viable financial alternative to everything that we've been trying over the years? And then you see that it really is real, and then you have Wasteland 2 come out and go, are you kidding me again? I mean, is this really possible? And then it's like, is this too good to be true? Is this going to last for a certain amount of time? If we're going to do it, we better try and get as close to being first in line as we can. But, it's telling a story. And so, that's where the pressure, comes in. We've got to pull something together that's interesting, exciting, and entertaining, because I think for each one that comes out, you have to up the bar a little bit, or it just gets kind of lumped in with, oh, here's another one. So, in essence, yes, I want to appeal to people who know our product, but somehow I've got to raise the bar and differentiate the presentation enough so that people will give you a second look and go to their checkbooks,
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess you probably heard, you may or may not have heard, Chris Avalon, who was again also on the panel with us in San Diego Comic-Con, just recently raised $4 million on his most recent project.
Incredible.
Yeah, $4 million. I think it's the most funded video game so far on Kickstarter.
Well, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, my hat's off to him. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's Project Eternity is what that's called. And but speaking of which, coming back to your Kickstarter, you guys raised $598,104. Great job. You know, so you got your money. You were looking to get 450,000, and you got the bar all the way up to the 598,000, almost 600,000 level.
Yeah, actually, if we ever get our money from PayPal, it'll be another 35 or 40,000 in there. But how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we've got something sitting there on top of that, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Like, yeah, we kind of had the same, the same deal there, And how's your stretch goals going for you guys?
In terms of what, I guess.
Well, are you guys still raising money?
No, not really. We basically hit our stretch goals with the amount we got.
Oh, okay.
And so what we do see from time to time is people upping their pledge. They want to maybe share in some of the sweet incentives that we had a little higher, and so we are getting people coming in, but we're not pressing actively to up the amount that we've gotten to date.
Mm-hmm. And how is things coming along in with your project?
Well, it's great because when we were doing this originally, as we all travel back in time here, we were all inventing our own technology then. We built our own engine and the green screen work, everything pretty much we had to come up with the process to make those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're developing a game like we did in the past, we had a substantial sized team. Most of it was dedicated to developing technology, and you never knew exactly. You set a bar and you said, I hope we meet these goals, but because the technology is being developed while you're doing it, it's almost like, oh, if I'd only have known that 4 months ago what we could have done, we may have been able to make the end product stronger. And of course, things as far as the computers and everything is far from as powerful as they are today. And so you fast forward now, and now you don't have to worry about the process. Now you don't have to worry about the technology. All of those things are established. We're using the Unity engine, which is fantastic. We spent the last 6 or 8 weeks, building our environments, and compared to the process as it was before, it's going so much quicker and looks, so much better than it has. And the green screen technology is so incredible now, and you're able to pick out the images so cleanly that now you can focus on what you wanted the games to be back, 12 years ago, what you wanted the finished product to look like. And now you can really focus on the quality of the cinema and making sure that you get the performances, and you don't have the technical drawbacks that you had to kind of work around and kind of handicapped you to a certain degree when you were doing it years ago. And so now it's such a relief to focus on, okay, cinematically, what do we want to do? All the technologies here that we need, let's make that happen. The Unreal Engine and the 3D environments that we're building, look tremendous, and you don't have to worry about within a certain degree, the amount of texture memory or whatever. You're getting the high quality that you want all the way across the board. And so, it's really has been a great experience to date. And as we're finishing the script and what we're working on, the whole process now, as you kind of step back into the role of designing products like that we wanted to design back then, the goal for us was to design a unique experience. It is an adventure game, but we call it interactive cinema, interactive movies, and we're able to do that much better and defining the category so that it's not a negative as it kind of has some baggage from the past, and be able to offer something that is clearly unique over products that are out there right now, and have the ability to do that is just very, very exciting.
No, that's great. Yeah. No, that's really good. It's good to see that, things have gone smoothly, and again, that's sort of where I wanted to veer this podcast, was to sort of talk a little bit about how things have changed in game design and game creation. Really, you started, your first game that came out in what, 1989? Is that correct?
Pardon me?
When did the first game that you made, when did it come out?
Probably 1983.
83. Wow. And what was the first game you worked on?
Well, the products we worked on, we were working on Commodore 64 when Commodore first came out, and we had a product called Beachhead, which did incredibly well for us, so well all the way, the world. And we had a couple of sequels to that. And then in 1986, we had our first, what I consider our mega success, which was Leaderboard, which is the beginning of our golf dynasty that we had during the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And then when did you come up with the concept of Tex Murphy?
Tex Murphy came out in 1989, and that was kind of an outgrowth of a simulator we'd done in 1987, 88, which was called Echelon. And it was a kind of this futuristic flight simulator. And we thought, well, okay, we like that process, but just flying it around wasn't all interesting, so let's build some sort of story so you have a reason to go to these locations. And then it really just kind of evolved into, it's actually more interesting to go to these locations and do what we're doing as opposed to the flight simulator. So simulator really became a secondary device, and the Tex Murphy, futuristic story really became the primary focus.
And in your involvement originally in game creation, were you a game designer? Were you a programmer? Were you a producer? Or what role did you play?
Well, when we originally started back in the basement operation, a friend of mine, Bruce Carver, who is an incredible game developer, and he started out. He was the programmer, and my background was basically the business side of it. But I'd always been interested in film as a hobby, and that's what we did growing up. Was we movies, and so that was always a real passion of mine. And when we hooked up, that's what we used to do, play Atari and Mattel and television, and he basically said, I think I could do this when the Commodore 64 came out. And so we basically started the company Access Software as a basic operation. And so my role was really more the business side of it and the producing side of it, as opposed to the programming.
Yeah, and then as you guys created the Tex Murphy, you took on the role of the main character. How did that come about?
Well, when it originally started, it was, again, the technology is so primitive from where it is today. It was really just, okay, we just need someone to stand in and be the face of it. I would always love the movies. That's basically why Tex Murphy got started, is because, my love of Humphrey Bogart movies and Raymond Chandler books and Robert Mitchum. And so that's, in essence, where the story came from. All standing for the character I'd love to be a PI. So that was the beginnings of the Tex Murphy. And then as the technology developed, again, it was a little less primitive, and it was like, okay, there's a little voice here and a little movement. All right, well, I can do that. And so it just basically evolved, and I was, less expensive than anybody else, and because I do it for free. And the business part of me, that's a nice equation. You can just stand in and do it. We don't have to pay an actor to do it. Go ahead. And so that really became the reason why I kind of evolved into the role.
Very cool. Yeah, and again, that you've pretty much been on the cutting edge with all of that stuff. There wasn't really a lot of that going on. You guys were right on the getting that stuff out, that video feed in video games, while it was all sort of just beginning. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, we were, and that was the only reason I think that Access basically survived is, Bruce was a genius when it came to the technical sides of it. He would always want to push the technology a little bit further than was currently out in the marketplace. So, for us, it was a matter of, to separate ourselves from the other publisher. We just have to be better. So we're not going to come out with a lot of games. We're going to come out with, products that technologically push the envelope and stay right on the edge. And because people are seeing, this industry and evolving every 6 to 12 months, we want to be right there at the edge. So when we put this product out, we want to push it to the furthest edge of technology that's available and keep doing that as long as we can.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, and you guys obviously did a great job with that, and eventually, didn't Access Software, didn't you guys sell the company or something to Microsoft? Is that right?
Yeah, in 1999, we sold the company to Microsoft, and that was a good thing.
Sure.
It was the prime time to sell, really, because 1999, as those in the industry for a while, I said that was kind of 98, 99, 2000 year mega change between small and intermediate-sized publisher and the world being taken over by a few of the big boys. So you either got on board with some of these guys, or you just found out that you really couldn't compete anymore. There was just much money. And, they were just, these guys were powerhouses and, competing against Microsoft or Electronic Arts or, a couple of the other big boys. It's just made it nearly impossible.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. Yeah, there was a lot of, obviously a lot of stuff going on, like on our end with Sierra. Sierra was sort of going down the tube by then as well. Like, unfortunately, that company was being, after Ken Williams, left, was being mismanaged, and so yeah, there was a lot of things being changed, and so you sold the company. You were able to kind of instead of losing it, you sold it, which was a good thing, I guess, and then you reformed Big Finish Games in 2007. Is that right?
Yeah, the history between that and 2007 is, in essence, I worked for Microsoft for about 5 years after that, and I was, working with Xbox and PC games at the point. They had broken a piece of the company we sold Microsoft, or when we sold to Microsoft, a group called True Golf, and that was a company that basically sold golf software to people who had full-size simulators that you could play in. Then after 2004, my contract was of Microsoft. I came to True Golf and was the CEO for True Golf. But I always had this desire to see if we could bring back Murphy and get involved with that. And so from there, I worked with Aaron Connors. He came to work with me. He's the co-creator of the Tex Murphy series. And that's when the Big Finish Game was kind of a subsidiary in its own way to True Golf. And we worked on the games for a couple of years through the Big Finish name. And then, the casual game market being what it is, there's a lot of people in it. It's tough to really make things work on that. Aaron went to work for Electronic Arts, but the story that we had been working on for all those years basically became the core focus once we felt like we had the opportunity to bring Tex back through the Kickstarter opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's great, and obviously that it's amazing how, again, the moons lined up perfectly to where all that could work out with Kickstarter and all of that. It became reality, and so now your newest game is being made, and you're again playing the role of Tex Murphy, and doing the video feed and stuff like that. And as far as you doing the video and all that stuff in the game, are you where are you shooting all of that at? Do you guys have your own like film studio room, or are you doing it out of somebody's house, or how are you going about doing all that?
Well, because I wear two hats, it's a lot easier to build a studio in the office that we have. So at the office of True Golf, where Finish has an office, we built a studio in the back warehouse area. And it's, again, we've been through the whole process. We built our own studio before. Everything we shot at a studio at Access Software. So, and a lot of the people who work at True Golf are people who worked at Access, who worked on the Tex Murphy series before. So, really, this is the core family that's been together for, a lot of them over 25 years for a lot of them. So we know this product. We inherently know how this needs to be done. Mm-hmm. We're excited. We have, much better technology, but these guys love it. The chance to do this again, something that, that they created, that was something special, that was something unique, and to be able to do that again, this becomes truly a labor of love. And for me, it's just, absolutely a thrill, but, it's for the team as well. And so, their heart and soul is going into this. It isn't like we had to hire, a number of people who weren't familiar with the property and the character and the storyline. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're guys who know it. And so it's making a huge difference in terms of, how the team works together and the thought process, and, everybody pretty much is on the same page. They know what's good enough. They know what they need to create. They've been through it. And so, like I say, it just becomes a joy to have this opportunity again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And it's good to see how passionate you are about it, and you got your family involved, your son and daughter and all of that. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess I met them at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm assuming that was your son and daughter that was with you, right?
Yeah, they are. They even are still today. They're still my family.
Cool. Well, that's great though. That's really good. I mean, to have a.
No, it's exciting because they grew up in the game industry as well. I mean, from their youngest memories, it's me coming back from work at 10:30 at night and talking about it, then playing the game. And so, it's in their blood too. And when you work at this office, obviously we're doing golf as we were when we were Access, and we're doing these games on the side. So, it's great to have that legacy involved with it, but it's also great to see their excitement, their understanding of the character, because, basically they've grown up with it their whole lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that just like with you, has made them super passionate about it and want to be involved. No, that's fantastic, man. That's really good to have that sort of a team going, and being able to get some family involved and all that, and everybody seems to obviously be having a blast doing it. So that's great. In fact, you have your daughter with you right now helping. I guess she's your tech support.
Yeah, she's my tech support. So
yeah,
she's on, my social media contact, and she interacts with the fans, and she does a super job. And my son, he just core understanding of game design. I'm honestly savoring every moment. People. This is a rare opportunity, and I really do appreciate the fact that the fans supported this, and I'm doing everything I can to turn out a product that they're going to love. Yeah.
No, I think everybody, I think the fans can definitely tell that. Yeah. No. That's fantastic. So, years ago, making games, it was obviously tough. You had to, and by the way, the chat room are all yelling out, "Hey, Courtney," by the way.
That's good.
But yeah, in chat room, just as a heads up, like when we got on here before the show started, we were trying to get Skype and everything working, trying to get the chat room on there, and Chris's tech support, Courtney, jumped on and made sure everything was set up properly. So that was why I was saying that he had tech support with him. So,
Yeah.
but as I was saying, so years ago making games, again, you've talked about how things have progressed and all of that. So, in terms of speed, like where you started with this new game and where you are now a couple of months down the road, how much further down the road are you now versus how you would have been years ago with the older technology that you had to deal with?
Further down the road in terms of being able to develop more quickly, or just
yeah, are you develop? Is the game progress going faster with or are all the new technologies and stuff, because you're making things a lot more fancy, as I'll say, advanced. Is that causing you to go slower in the game creation, or are you able to move a lot faster in the game creation process, or is it going about the same?
I think what it's done, I'm surprised at how quickly our guys got the hang of Unity. There was some talk initially, there was some reservations. These guys going, we don't know this engine, and it's an engine that doesn't have the same tech support as Unreal or some of these others. So if we have questions, we could run into some hurdles and roadblocks that could set us back. But the guys jumped in; they've done an amazing job. Again, because they're very passionate about it. They've figured things out, and we've got Chris Kelly, who's our lead programmer on this, and he's got a great passion for it. So if we have any problems, bam, he's right there taking care of it. So I would say what it's doing for us, it's speeding up the cycle. I don't think it'll make our game go out quicker, but it gives us a chance to work on the other paths and develop. Again, I probably need to go back and just say our game is a multi-path game. I mean, it's interactive cinema. So what we're saying there, how we define that phrase is you have a very rich, deep storyline that can go in several directions, and that when you go in any one of these directions, it has a consistency, so that it doesn't just feel like you get to the end of the game and here's the ending. We try and make sure that the characters develop along these multiple paths that you're taking, so there's more richness to the pathing as opposed to what you typically see. And I feel like that we did very well in the Pandora direction, and we were pioneers with that. And we want to make sure that this game has that feeling again, where people feel like if they choose to go on another path, it's like they're selecting different paths in a movie. It's not just a sim. It is full characterization and full story development on these other paths. So it's giving us a chance, I think, to enrich that, and that to me is very exciting, because I think that's really the big differentiator of our product. That and having actors in the game per se, make it more an emotional experience.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic, and it's good that I'm sure it has been a little bit of a struggle with dealing with the new engine, but just the fact that you've got a team of people that are so excited to take part and get their hands dirty with it. I'm sure even though it's been a learning experience, I'm sure it's they've been able to allow things to come along real smoothly and get through any of the hurdles they've had to deal with. So that's great. Are you guys using the newest version of Unity that's out? I know I can't remember if Unity 4 is coming out, or Unity 3.5, or you may not know. It might be your developers that would know that answer.
Well, the deal has been we've been using the older version. Whether we have the new version yet or we're out to get it, I know it's very, very close.
Yeah.
Once that's established, we'll push the Unity. I think it's 5. We'll push that one because obviously it's just going to make some things better, and we'll make sure that whatever it makes better, we'll take advantage of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt, and no, that's cool. And is one of the things the chat room is asking. You may have already answered this in the beginning. I know some people have joined the chat room late, but the game itself, how's it progressing? Is it on track? Is it on schedule, would you say, to the best of your estimate?
Yeah, it's on track. Like I said, I think we're looking at August, September of next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very confident right now that we should be on schedule for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I'm happy that we were able to jump in and really get full usage out of Unity very quickly. And as far as the script, because we pushed the graphics ahead, we're ahead of schedule actually on the graphics. It makes me feel like the script's behind. We want to actually be doing our shooting of the actors in January, but I think the way things are proceeding, I think we're with that. And so I would have to say it looks very good in terms of our ETA on our date there.
Great. No, that's fantastic. It's good to see you guys are on track and everything. One of the fans in the chat room said, will there be any video updates anytime soon? We miss seeing you guys, they said.
The deal with the video, it's a bit of a trick. I like to make sure that what we give you is interesting and new and fresh, and you never like to put out anything earlier than having what you feel is finished video. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
put something up there and say, hey, this isn't quite done, and so give us some time, and people they look at it and say, is that finished? It's like, no, it's not finished. So, I mean, it's a bit of a trick. But, yeah, I think over the next few weeks we'll have a video update. I don't know whether we'll have any graphics updates at that particular point.
Mm-hmm.
Probably within 6 weeks. Yeah, we're gonna start having material that we'll start posting, that people will be able to see the progress of the environments that we're pulling together.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. Well, one thing I wanted to mention, taking a look at your Kickstarter page, you guys did something pretty cool you did a lot of cool things in your Kickstarter, but the Magnificent Seven was something that was really neat and interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Well, before we started, or just before we went out, I basically hit some friends and family up for some, donations and people that I'd worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it was decided that, if you've got a shot at making this, then we'll help you. And we'll help you with, a decent donation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we set basically some goals at that point. It said, if you hit this number, if you hit X number of backers, you have a certain amount of money, then okay, we'll kick in. We're not going to kick in early. You have to make some serious progress on what you're doing. We have to see that it's actually attainable.
Right.
And so if we do that, then you're going to get some support from 7 of these people that I talked to. So that's really where it came from. There was, we didn't. When we talked about it, the money wasn't going to go in early. The money wasn't going to jack it up naturally. It was going to be, this is going to be used for incentives. This is going to be used to see whether, you have a chance to get over the goal line. This is the best way to figure it. And public television has done things like this. And so really, it was put in a position to see whether at a certain point, with some additional incentives, additional momentum could be achieved.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a fantastic idea, though. It was, and you went and talked to these people before your Kickstarter ever came out, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you had already kind of had a little bit of this planned, and and then how you were going to roll it out. But you guys rolled out the Magnificent Seven. A couple of weeks into your Kickstarter, didn't you?
I can't remember exactly. It was like, probably after 2 weeks, something like that.
Yep, something like that. I remember watching and seeing your numbers just skyrocket when all that was going on, and that was obviously really, really smart, really great thing to do to go out and seek out some people that could help out beforehand. So, great stuff there. So, here's a question for you. The game gets made, it ships, everybody's happy. Is there going to be another Tex Murphy, you think?
Right now, I'm planning on one additional one.
One additional one.
We hope that, the
Right.
end just wasn't satisfactory, but we would the story. I guess going back to when we first were working on this back in the 1999. This was set up for a trilogy. We had 3 stories that we wanted to kind of the Tex arc with.
Mm-hmm.
And Connors had worked on this, and we had enough pieces of it. Some teasers inside the Tex Murphy Overseer game that were tied to the next game. A cliffhanger that unfortunately is like falling, from Jupiter towards these 14 years. So a lot of people, you ended just on a cliffhanger. Can you give us some sort of satisfaction? And 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it's like, yeah, we still want to make this game. And then of course, 12 years passed. So it was set in an arc of 3. We feel like we can run this one to a satisfactory ending. But that whole arc, we think we put in 2 games, and so we would like to be able to do 2. And obviously, we're hoping that we get the support so we can, really make that happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. Now, would you go the route of Kickstarter again if push came to shove?
I might. I hope that it stands on its own.
Right.
I hope that that we can just pull this off and make it happen. Nothing's out of the question. I'm hoping that that we make a great game. We get good support, and we can naturally roll into the second game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And I know that's same kind of thing with us. Like with Space Venture coming out, we obviously hope financially everything stands on its own 2 feet. But who knows what the future holds really. So, and fans in the chat room, go ahead if you have questions. Go ahead and start asking the questions as we move towards the last bit of the podcast here. But before you go ahead and you can ask your questions and I'll get to them, guys. But I did have another question for you, Chris. So with the Tex Murphy game coming out, what platforms do you plan on it being out? Obviously, it's you're going to make it downloadable. Is it going to go out in Steam and channels like that, or what?
That's the part of the equation that I'm not totally sure of right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we want to be on Steam. Obviously, we're talking to a couple of publishers about the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and so. The process to this point was, can we get the money? So our focus was on that. The second process is now got the money, let's get going. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've really been heavily involved with game design and all the preliminaries and making sure the environments are what we want. And so for the next until Aaron and I finish off the script in probably the next 30 to 40 days. Because we got to get ready for our shoot annual. My focus is going to be on that. Then after that, I'm going to be seriously looking at the models of distribution. But to be honest with you, it's kind of taking a secondary spot. I need it, but in order of priority, right now, I'm just so involved with game design and the script that
Mm-hmm.
kind of coming up for air to
Sure.
get these out of the way. The team stays focused and can and nobody's wasting any time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a budget. We have to be very careful with how we spend our money.
Oh yeah, we know all too well about that, right? Okay, so here's some questions for you in the chat room. Redcat1972 says, how is the Pandora Directive audiobook coming along?
Yeah, I finally finished that. That was a trial. That was also part of what I've been doing over the last couple of months is reading the audio book. But it was actually a good experience because I am a character for a while. So for me to actually sit down, have to focus on the character, have to read material again, go through it in my head. It's actually a good training for me to get ready to step back into. I mean, you think you're familiar with it, and obviously acting's a completely different animal. I've been away from it for a while, so honestly, it was a great primer and got me mentally focused on this design as well. Because going through it and stepping through and understanding the process again, and understanding the Tex Murphy process especially, was actually like going back to school and very helpful.
Mm-hmm. All right, very cool. Well, let's see. Another question for you. What kind of marketing, and this is from another one from Redcat, what kind of marketing do you guys plan to do before the game comes out? I guess to get everybody excited about it.
Yeah, honestly, that relates back to what we were just talking about. I'll have a better feel for that as soon as I get these other things off.
Sure.
And again, I'll have 8 or 9 months to deal with that. So I'll have to say that's kind of pending right now. We will have a program when this goes out, but I've just got to stay focused on Plan A right now, and then once I get those things out of the way, then my attention becomes focused on the marketing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next question is from Beckerist. It says, my question, any chance you would release your awesome effort on a future Humble bundle?
Go back to marketing. I think there's a chance of that, but depending on how we end up being marketed, and again, whether it's an outside publisher, whether we do it ourselves, whether we're going to groups like Steam and whatever on our own. That's part of a bigger overall strategy. But I would see in time that would happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. All right. Well, let's see. This is from Jin Lee Imp. I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. It says, has the storyline changed since its inception 14 years ago?
Jen, it has evolved. I mean, actually, we had to push it out a ways. I'm a little older than I was. We did it. So, a number of factors had to be taken into consideration. And so we're pushing the story out further down the line and evolving it. So it isn't what happened the next day after Overseer. It really is, a number of years have passed. And so, a number of things that were in the original story, this is an evolution of a number of those, but it also carries a number of those situations and moves it ahead in the future.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. All right. Well, guys, I think we have come to the end of the episode, and I think we got most all the chat room questions answered, I hope. So, Chris, thanks. Thanks for taking the time and coming on with me and talking about everything. Can you go ahead and plug your website, your Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to plug on here with us? Plug, like, you tell everybody where they can find more information about your game and all that stuff.
Yeah, if they want to go to the bigfinish.com site, bigfinishgames.com.
Bigfinishgames.com.
That's the site where you're going to get the information.
Awesome. And that's got links for your Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Bigfinishgames.com. Awesome. Well, again, man, thanks so much for coming on. And chat room, thank you guys for hanging out with us. You can find more out about us at guysfromandromeda.com. And my Twitter is twitter.com/thechrispope, and there's twitter.com/AndromedaGuys, as well as facebook.com/Two Guys from Andromeda. So check all that out for us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We got some more exciting people coming on, and we might even have, by talking to Chris, we might even have some more people involved in the Tex Murphy project on in the future. So you guys keep an eye out for that, coming up in the coming weeks, months, and we're looking forward to that. All right, everybody, thanks a lot for hanging out with us, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.